Okay. Tell us about the garage sale art fair.
It was, as the person running it, it was spectacular. Now, people made spectacular sales and people didn't do as well.
Mhm.
I mean, just like any other show. So there's no guarantee that, you'll have a great show. But it's one of those shows, it's kind of what you put into it. If you go in with the right mindset,
Mhm.
you will do well. Because you have to get out of your head as far as selling your work at a discount. It's hard for a lot of us, but I finally got over it when I was doing the show by looking at it as, do I want to continue carrying this piece around that no longer matches anything else?
Well,
Or do I want
there's something to say about that. As artists, we evolve, and it's not that the old work is bad. We've just moved forward, and
right?
so that's how I see it anyway.
Well, and I feel like some of my old pieces just kind of hang over my head. And I
Mhm.
swear, if I have to look at it one more time, and then there are times that I no longer even put them out because
Mhm.
I'm tired of looking at them.
And then, a lot of that older stuff, it's too good to just take apart.
Exactly. I don't really want to take a hammer to it.
Yeah.
So, but we had the show opens at 9. The first person was in line at 7:30.
Mhm.
So that's a pretty good sign.
That's pretty cool.
We had really we had lines pretty much all day.
Mhm.
We had a few people that said that the lines to get into the parking lot were too long, and so they turned around. And I said, well, that's a shame because, we hire a dive rescue team and they handle the parking and they keep the lines moving really well and make sure that
Mhm.
everybody has a parking place. And yeah, it was just, and if you see it all,
Wait a minute. Can't hear you. Can't hear you now.
sorry. If you know me at all, I'm kind of whoops.
Frozen.
Well, just a minute. There. I tend to be with the show. I tend to be a micromanager. Dick said tend to. Okay. With the show, I am a micromanager. And this year, I let my people go. I mean, I let them run it.
You let your people go.
I let them just take over.
Mhm.
And I kind of sat back and let them do their thing.
So here's a question. The
Yes.
new organization that's taking it over, were they there?
Yes.
Good.
So well, you can't see me anymore, but yes. So they could see it. I hope they were a little blown away by the
maybe you would. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, the fact that it's a much bigger event than they probably thought, because it sounds like a garage sale art fair. You're expecting like garage sale stuff, or I don't know what to expect.
So maybe it's worth all of you having a post-show Zoom or something to just, so in case they have questions or, I mean.
Oh, we will be.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm sure Bonnie's going to be there next year, just like overseeing it.
I mean, I've already, updated the Facebook page and, all that for next year.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
good. I'm just so happy that it worked out, you know, and after all this time, you know, with the pandemic and
Exactly. So I'm so relieved. I feel like I've lost 10 years off my, no, I feel 10 years younger.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was just, I can't tell you how satisfying it was.
That's really, really great.
I just, yeah. But to be able to sit back and see all of the hard work that you've put in over
Mhm.
all of those years, see all the people step up. And I know that I don't have to worry about my baby. Now, I have told them they have to hire my people,
Mhm.
you know, because if they do that, they won't have to worry.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay, so now I know that everyone else has a life too. So let's hear about everyone else's life. Oscar, how did it go with Steve?
18,000.
Dollars?
18,000.
Dollars.
Yeah.
Is what
That
we
is really
sold?
cool.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
That's just great. I love to hear it.
Holy shit.
Good.
And that's the first deductible, so don't get too high.
Oh my goodness. I am so happy for both of you.
Oh.
You must have been his.
Yay.
Easy. I just let him work. I just put the 10 up, close to 10, let him sell. That's all. So
Pretty cool.
he did really good.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
God.
I just kept it quiet, you know. I didn't. Everybody. I'm just happy that people are happy for him. I just like just you know the only thing that bugged me was that people was asking me why I was helping, and I was like it makes me wonder if that's because they don't think that I would do something for him or there's no reason to help him. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you were just helping a friend. What's wrong with that? Huh?
Yeah. He's my
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah, that's the same thing that I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's their problem.
No, but he did really good. He's happy. But I told him, you still have.
That's excellent.
I told him that after you take everything, probably 75% of first deductible, so you still have to make the auto deductible and the auto bills. So just keep working.
Boy, that is phenomenal.
Yeah,
Which,
Naples National.
oh,
Yeah, he did really good. Also that show was a little coming from growth and just walking that show. That looks like I don't know. Doesn't look. It's supposed to be one of the best shows in the area, and it doesn't look like it is. The quality of the work is not impressive at all.
Oh,
Really?
It's good, but when you come from Coconut Grove to that, it's like not even close. The layout is confusing. They got artists in the street, they got artists in the park. There's no clear entrance to the park. So if you're not street, basically you screw in the so, and Ricky Lowe was in the show also.
Who?
Rick Lowe, the guy that got caught
Oh,
last.
right. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, he was in that show also. He's a nice guy. Uh, if you meet him first time, but the background doesn't makes you wonder.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm thinking of somebody different. What am I missing?
You know, the last year, Karina threw him. I'm confusing the name. They threw him out of Coconut Grove because he was doing 2 shows at the same time.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, you know, and he was complaining they put him in a bad spot. And I'm going like, you know, I don't even know how you're doing the show, to be honest with you.
mhm.
But you know, but the show was, I don't know, didn't feel right. Something bugged me through the whole show. Plus, on Saturday, my neck decided to be pain in the butt. So I was in pain all day long on Saturday. So
So right, that sucks.
it's like
Yeah.
it feels like somebody tapping you in your shoulder all day long.
Oh,
So,
Oh, okay.
and then went away on Sunday. There was nothing there. And today it's just a little, it feels like a knot back there today. So I will figure it out. But overall, it was a good show for him. And now I'm looking to, he's doing Bonita 3. I'm doing Bonita 3. I got 2 more shows in my trip. Then I'm going to go home for a week and then I'll go to Bayou.
mhm.
So,
I'm
but
sure
my
your
good,
kitties. I'm sure the kitties miss you.
uh,
Mhm.
they're going to me for after that for another week because I need to leave on Tuesday. So it takes almost 2 days to get to Houston.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
I just passed through Houston, well, on my way out to Florida, but that's different.
Are you,
It's
are you tired, Oscar?
what?
Are you tired?
No, not
Good.
at all.
Good.
I'm, you know, I knew what I was getting into, and I'm more homesick than anything else.
Yeah.
It's not about if I because I take care of myself. I take Mondays off, and I
Good.
try to rest as much as I can. I don't stress out about the show. You know, I go through a list in my head what I'm going to do on Wednesday. Then Thursday I leave for the show. Get set up Friday, and you know, you know, try not to stress out about anything. There's nothing you can do about it. So just go with good attitude.
Yep.
But the one thing I need to figure out is I want to make a picture 48 by 72. And I need to figure out which image I want to print because that's going to cost me almost 1,700.
To
So,
print.
yeah, so for one image.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Oh, what was that one? I wish I could remember what it was. You just posted it recently in the customer's home. Oh my God, it was killer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
It was kind of an ethereal image with maybe reeds or something in the water.
Yeah. That's the one that's been done like hotcakes down here.
That's
Like I said,
right.
2-3 times in the same show, 40 by 60. So, but that one, that's the 4872. So,
but seeing it in their home,
Yes.
it was like, oh my God, they picked the perfect piece for
Yeah.
their home.
Yeah, and that piece was nerve-wracking because she ordered it in September, but she didn't need it until she came to Florida. So I placed the order in December, at the last week of December. The lab told me that the file was something was wrong with the file, so I resended the file, and then they decided not to print it for a whole month.
Oh.
So that I called them when you guys are going to ship it, they told me they started printing the day before the shipping. And then they told me there's another problem with the picture. And I said, like, you know what? At this point, there's nothing I can do. Just print it and I will deal with it. and turned out to be I don't know what the hell they was talking about.
Mhm.
It's the picture has grain and the edges, and they
Oh.
think pixelated, but when I look at a picture, I'm going like, that's just grain. It's the same father you guys print every freaking week. It's going like, what's I go like, what's wrong with you guys?
Oh,
Sounds like they just didn't do it and didn't want to admit it. Because I would think if they had a problem with it, they would have contacted you immediately.
Yeah, it was like they didn't want to print it until the last minute. Then they had I don't know. It doesn't matter. The lady was happy. I hang it and they actually chat with her for a whole freaking hour. And I was just dying to get out of here because it took me an hour and a half to drive to her house to hang it. An hour and a half campground.
So they need more artwork from you, though. They don't have. It didn't seem like they had much artwork in their house.
That's a winter home. I don't think that he's not going to spend that much time in there. Yes, you need more artwork, but I'm not like that. I don't push the sales on people. I just, they got me information. They know how to reach me.
Right.
If they want more my work, they can contact me.
Mm-hmm. So,
even Sunday, I got
so that's one thing I noticed in the region I was in. The traffic is so awful wherever you have to go. If you have to go out of the region to another place, everything takes much longer than you think.
Florida is a big state, quite honest with you. And it's it can take, if you're in the Panhandle all the way to the Keys, it can take you 17 hours.
No, but what I'm talking about is just going from St. Pete's to Dunedin should take, I think, like 25 minutes, and it takes more like an hour because of traffic.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
all I'm saying. Traffic is just, it seems bad, when you go out of your little neighborhood that you're in.
Yeah, but, you should be used to it.
I live in Santa Fe now. We don't have traffic.
Oh, just go back to San Francisco traffic. Just think about it that way.
Yeah, well, but honestly, when I lived in Oakland and my studio was in Berkeley, I took city streets. So my life never revolved around traffic. But yes, if I had to go somewhere else. But yeah, it seemed wherever we went, out of our little neighborhood, traffic definitely was was pretty bad.
It's also high here, so
right. Yeah, but God, the weather was perfect. I mean, it was like 72.
I'm in Florida.
Pardon?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Allison, how did you enjoy your time in Florida?
Oh yeah. So we arrived last Saturday, just got home yesterday, and for the most part it was good, but when we arrived, budget car rental did not have cars for 300 people.
Yeah, we
And
saw
so-
that on Facebook. You posted about it.
Yeah. And they didn't, we ended up renting a car 2 days later, and through Avis, budget would do nothing. They wouldn't honor the rate or anything. And so of course the car that we rented, was more expensive, but it was less days and we didn't have a choice. So that sucked. But Gulfport was really cute town, like a little village. And there were rainbow flags everywhere, and I believe in science, and and it was very walkable. So yeah, we had a really nice time. We saw my old college roommate and her husband, and we went kayaking, which was really great, and into the mangrove tunnels, and so it was mostly a really nice trip. But we were supposed to meet my niece at the Dolly Museum, and she was 2 hours late, and that was so there was some aggravation, which had nothing to do with where we were, but otherwise it was really nice, perfect weather. My workshop was lovely, and the people running it were just really great. there was a friend of mine was teaching at the same time, so we shared the Airbnb, and so that was kind of fun. And we had a Gulf view like on our deck, so at night, we could just
Oh,
sit outside, and so that was, so all of that was really good. They were a great group of people. They had lunch for everyone, for all the students, and so it was a very nice event and class. And so we just got home yesterday, and so I feel a little groggy today, but and it was really nice to have a break from winter too. I mean, it was just perfect weather. I know it could be really hot there, but it was in the 70s, and just
so it was the Florida Society of Goldsmiths?
the West Coast chapter. They have a lot of different chapters.
Yeah.
And they have, just in that region, like the Clear Lake to Sarasota region, there's 3 different art centers, and they've got studios and all kinds of the place I taught in Dunedin, they had a kitchen. They teach cooking classes too. And I went to the Bradenton, it was Art Center Manatee, which is in Bradenton, just north of Sarasota. And because my work was in a show there. And so we got a tour of the place, and that was a really nice art center also. And apparently there's one in St. Pete's. So they've got a really good community there of, besides jewelers, I mean, the art centers offer play and painting and all kinds of things. So it was good. It was really, And so, I really never spent any time in Florida, so it was nice to see. And so they want to have me back in the fall, but it's probably like it's a lot of traveling, and so it probably, because I already have a bunch of shows, that probably won't work out. So, but maybe next year.
I used to take workshops with them when they had them. They used to hold them up at Wild Acres.
They're doing Wild Acres again.
Good.
I think this October. So
yeah.
And then they have workshops at New Smyrna Beach, Florida, also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I taught in both. New Smyrna is nice. It's on the inland waterways, and they have these boardwalks, and Wild Acres.
I used to do a show there, an art fair.
Okay, yeah. So they're a very active guild, and they don't mind pushing themselves to do the work, even though it gets frustrating. So you do something for the first time, you're going to have failure, but which is, I think, you learn from that, and so you just keep pushing and trying. And I remind them it's a lot of work to do in 3 days, and especially doing it for the first time. And so
well, I just came across pictures from like the mid-90s at Wild Acres, and it was amazing because they give you all the names of everyone. Okay. See the names of people that I didn't necessarily know back then, but know now that were there.
Yeah. So one funny thing about Wild Acres is it's in the hills about an hour north of Asheville, and it's a retreat center, not a jewelry center. So they bring everything in, the guild that hosts it, but the doors don't lock. If you're inside your room, you can lock it, but when you leave, you can't lock your doors for the day, which is psychologically strange. I mean,
yeah, but such a cool location.
Yeah, beautiful. It's right down the road from Penland.
And dry, which really bothered a lot of people.
And what?
It's dry in that area.
Oh,
no booze.
Everyone brought alcohol.
Well, yeah, I think they learned over the years.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it was a long drive, I guess, to go get it.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was dry.
I really don't drink, so it didn't make any difference to me, but it was like dramatic for some people.
Right. Yeah, no, everyone had their provisions for sure.
That was
because it was like a whole week that you're there.
Yep.
So
that's good.
Yeah. The thing is, the food is so awful
Where?
at Wild Acres.
Oh no, ours was really good.
And it has a reputation of it. I mean, thank goodness they had a salad bar, but it was, I don't know. I found I flew, so I didn't have my pantry with me. And I found
Yeah.
myself just being hungry all the time.
There's my favorite guy.
Hey, Bonnie.
He tricked out both my walker and my rented scooter.
I saw that. And I saw the Cheez-It blanket.
Yes,
That actually looked really nice.
it did. Oh my God, it's so funny. But let me brag about mine first. I had ducks, and I think there were cow.
No,
Is it-
they were all ducks.
Were they all ducks? There was one that looked a little unduck-like. But my favorite was, well, I really liked the light up, but was the light up the one that had the sunglasses?
Yes.
Okay. Sunglasses in pink. I don't know. It was absolutely hilarious. And he's the best sharer of posts. So
I even got an award for that.
he did.
Ah, nice. I saw your posts.
There
And
were
I also
only-
got
yes.
Facebook now keeps coming up and telling me that I ranked somewhere on that page as being one of the biggest, I don't know.
Yes, you did. One of the most engaged something.
So you got a badge? Is that what they?
I
Been
don't
enough.
know.
And I, for one, was very grateful.
Paul
Court made a
couldn't,
big difference in my show, my attitude, many thanks, friend.
Paul kept going on and on about the chili verde I made.
But you,
I took my regular Texas style chili, and then I made some chili verde, pork
whoa,
chili verde that I took to his house.
well, I couldn't have beaten the crack stuff that you gave me. I think I ate it all. I didn't even bring it out until my company left. I can't be, I now know. Yeah, I can't be trusted. He gave me this stuff. I mean, it's a total sugar buzz.
Uh-huh. What was it?
It's called cracker toffee,
Ah,
and it is salting. You take equal amounts of butter and sugar, brown sugar and butter,
mhm.
and you bring it to a boil,
Yeah.
and stir it and stir it and stir it, because to get all the butter incorporated in, and you boil it for about 5 minutes. And you take a cookie sheet and put parchment, or I used foil and sprayed it with some cooking spray.
Mhm.
And then you lay out saltine crackers on the cookie sheet.
Mhm.
And after this stuff boils, you pour it and spread it over the saltine crackers, and then bake it again.
Ah,
You would never know they were saltine crackers.
yeah.
And then
Sounds
after-
decadent.
When you
Oh.
take it out of the oven, you take chocolate bars and break them up over the top.
Oh my God.
And when they melt, you then take a spatula and spread it out to get your layer of chocolate on the top. And then you sprinkle. We have a pecan tree in back, and I had leftover pecans, so I roasted some of those and chopped them up and put them on top.
Ah, wow, that sounds really decadent. Now, is there any systematic way to open those pecans? Because somebody gave me a huge amount of them, and I eat them, but breaking them open is very
There's no good way to do it
okay.
unless you have a big commercial cracker.
Right.
It's worth the work.
Yeah. But that sounds amazing what you made. It sounds really delicious.
We found somebody locally that has a commercial cracker, and they cracked them for us.
Ah,
Well, that's a good deal.
But we've only gotten pecans off this tree twice in the 20 years we've lived here.
huh.
I'm told you have to spray them. There's some kind of mite that lays, some kind of bug lays their eggs in the blossoms, and then they mature and literally grow. As the pecan grows, this thing grows and then eats the nut and then eats its way out.
Oh,
Lovely.
So you wind up with all these pecans that are totally empty, pecan shell that are totally empty except for this one hole that's not much bigger than a pinhead.
Love.
So
Oh, let me tell you, that's very much crack. It's on here.
yeah, and I gave some to John Hecker. I was going to leave some with Paul, but he said they weren't into sweets, so I wanted to bring a bunch home.
Okay, who's knocking?
I'm sorry, that's somebody's wrestling on my sister's roof. I
Oh,
apologize.
Dick's in the kitchen and he can hear it. He keeps walking out here. Like, what's going on? So what else is new?
I finally found these glasses again.
They
My
were
little
missing.
buddy here, my little shithead here, likes to
Mr.
knock
Gray?
things off my desk and under my desk where I can't see them. I thought it was just pens and pencils. No, it's my glasses too.
Yep.
Hey, Bonnie, how are you feeling?
Surprisingly, not bad.
I'm glad to hear.
I'm disgustingly happy right now. I think I described it as being nauseatingly happy. My show's over. It was as successful as I could make it with the help of all of my friends.
That's wonderful.
So, yeah.
It's a nice legacy, Bonnie.
Yes. And I'm hopped up on steroids. What more could I ask for? Oh,
Yeah.
so all is good.
Bonnie, I still have fried pickle dip.
That stuff was kind of amazingly good. Even though it sounds horrible.
I went to Costco after I set up for Bonnie's show and got a couple snacks, and I happened to find this fried pickle and ranch dip.
That sounds horrible. It wasn't.
You have to be from the South and like fried pickles.
I don't think anybody there was from the South, and everybody seemed to like it.
Everybody thought it was like really weird. I finally just nobody would touch it. I finally put some on a plate with some chips and passed it around, and then everybody decided, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. That was the only way he was going to get anybody to try it. This was in the hotel lobby.
Some of the stores here have had pickle flavored chips of various sorts.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be sort of the same. And they do make deep fried dill pickles at the fair.
Yeah. The pickled potato chips, the pickle flavored ones, are they're like I love dill pickles, but they're kind of too sour. I've only had them, a couple chips, but.
If you can find the Tom's brand, sometimes the grocery convenience stores carry them, but Tom's dill pickle, those are the best.
Okay.
And they're really tart. They've got a lot of vinegar on them. They'll really pucker up your mouth.
Well, I have to be off all those things now. I gave myself a couple weeks before the garage sale to not care about what I ate because I was stressing. And now I have to go back to caring. So I had to quick finish up your crack stuff. Before I went back to not eating.
That's why I didn't give you very much.
Oh, there was a lot. I don't even know if I gave Dick any. Did you have any of the crack? You didn't hear me. So.
Yeah, I tried to give. Rhonda didn't want any. Bruce didn't want any. Paul didn't want any. They just said they weren't into sweet stuff.
I would like some right now. I would eat, just for the record, I would eat that.
You don't eat just some, you eat a lot.
The kicker is you can't just have a bite. Yeah. I finished it this morning after my breakfast.
John Hecker said he had it for breakfast.
Oh. Okay, then. That would be a great breakfast, actually.
So
what's going? Sorry.
Couldn't hear you, Oscar.
What Parker said about the banner.
Kozo wanted to leave it up for the whole show.
He leave it up for the whole show?
No, Kozo wanted to, but he wouldn't do it.
Oh.
It was so nice to see her.
Oh my goodness. And John, what he did with the little cats?
Oh, well, that was one of about 3 dozen two or 3 dozen that wound up in boxes, in the Heckers boxes in their booth.
Pat said I've been catted. Well, mine kept falling off, so they ended up in the pocket of my apron to be used again.
Well, my
Wow.
wife did a load of laundry today, and she found mine in the dryer.
I bet they made it through just fine, though.
They did.
So what else is going on in the art fair front? Karen, did the deadline come up yet for Art in the High Desert?
Yes, and the jury is working as we speak. It's a remote jury. We ask as board members if we could somehow, participate, but not, have any vote or course. And that wasn't going to happen, but we were able to preview all of the applications with an independent PDF list. So I got a good overview of the applicants. We had about 490 applications, which was the biggest number of people that have applied to the show, and they applied from all over the country. So that's pretty much what we're shooting for.
And how many exhibitors will there be this year? I know it went up a little bit.
If we had 90 artists who are pre-invited because they were there at the last show and whatever, it's the rollover effect.
Yeah.
We probably had more than 90, but 90 accepted and paid prior to everything to help us get going, which was wonderful. So I guess there's about 150 spots. So we're looking for the balance of that, the 60 artists plus the waitlist artists to make this happen. Yeah.
Are you happy when you look at the people that have applied?
Oh, it's always interesting. I applaud those people courageous enough to apply, but you can tell they've never applied before. Been there,
Yeah.
done, you know, you make all the mistakes, but you know, good for them for throwing their hat in the ring and trying. I'm sure that they will learn.
Yep.
But a lot of names I recognize, some that I didn't. And it's a wonderfully diverse group of both artists and work. So
Right.
I think it's going to be really tough to choose. I
Mm.
think it's going to be hard to pick.
Be
So
glad
that's
it-
always
Yeah.
the thing. To a degree, it ends up being a numbers game because you know you're choosing from people who maybe are all good after you've weeded out.
Yeah.
That's
So
why
we
I'm
had
look-
a couple questions about, you know, just one or two artists that we were uncertain that they were the kind of artists that we want in the show. But I think that they won't get picked by the jury anyway, so I wasn't going to fuss about it. Yeah, you always get, you know, some weird applications, but we're pretty excited about it. So now we're actively looking for a volunteer coordinator.
Mhm.
And that seems a little harder because you really need someone who's from that community who can
right.
has contacts with groups and other groups and to network with people to say, wouldn't you be really fun, have the excitement, get some swag and help with this, you know, stunning art fair. So Oregon has a new legislative committee that's going to focus on funding for the arts. And they just met, I guess it was just 2 days ago in Salem. And all of a sudden, it's like we have a chance to lobby for funding if we need funding. But more importantly, we're having a way to network with other cultural groups. And I think it's good for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good
Is there a Target store in the area?
Not where I live, other places.
Is there a Target store near the show?
Bend
Yeah.
or
There would be one in Bend.
Okay. Approach them. Target
Really?
has
outreach.
Target has employee volunteer programs.
Oh, it's great to know. Let me write this down. Okay.
The store I worked at wasn't involved in much, but I do know that I believe it was the Mulvane Art Fair in Topeka, Kansas, used their local Target store to provide volunteers for help unloading. I remember seeing that. That was before I started working for Target.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's
that
wonderful,
is-
Cory.
Good to know.
I don't know how many people you'll get. I don't know how active they would be or anything else, but that's definitely one source.
It's a place to start. There are a lot of neighborhood associations that we're also trying to connect with them to see if some of those would have the time to volunteer for the art fair. And they seem like they'd be a good group also. But again, we need somebody in the community to be there for that outreach. And that's a little harder. Right. Carl and Dave Fox are still helping us and they are involved, but once they step down, the rest of us we don't live there. And you know, we live in Oregon, but not all of us live in Oregon. So having some locals is important.
Yeah, think about like non-religious organizations that people join, and offhand, you know, I can't think of anything just because my mind is mush right now from jet lag. But that sort of thing, or even like I know, like at Sun Valley, they have high school kids. Like the football team helps people set up, and so
let's see, the Smoky River Festival in Topeka in Salina, I believe that's the one that uses Boy Scouts, and the troops come in and help.
We use Boy Scouts.
So they service organizations, right?
Yeah.
Why not religious organizations, Allison?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, if a religious organization wanted to help It just seemed that it's not related to a religion, so I don't know if they would be interested, but I just don't know.
Yeah,
So-
but usually religions are fairly well organized. You know, they have their committees and they have an organizational structure that historically, you know, they usually are the first groups to rally when there's war. You know, those are the women that got the food together, got the clothes to the soldiers in the field, those kind of stories, but a long time ago.
Well,
We use the band boosters, the local high
What's
school.
that?
We use the local high school band boosters.
Mhm.
Ah, okay.
I've
Yeah.
also done a show where there was a high school sports team. I don't, for some reason, I think might have been wrestling, might have been football. I bet wrestling sticks in my mind. But you know, like Allison said, a high school sports team.
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be a sports team, though. Some high schools have a graduation requirement of volunteering.
Doing
That's
public,
true.
community service.
The sports team might be healthier and stronger, but if you have heavy lifting to do, but I just contact the counselor or whatever at the local high school.
Well, the other thing that we're trying to do is, you know, outreach to the community so that those groups participate in the art fair, which makes it their art fair. You know, it's not just an isolated event where strangers come in and have it. We want to really connect with the community as well.
There's a community college, Karen. There's a community college there, so maybe I don't know, art department or there's also there's a metals guild there, although you know they might be pissed if they apply and don't get in, so there's that issue.
That's probably not so.
Or do a group booth.
Do a what? A group booth?
For the metals guild.
I could probably connect you to the metals guild if you want to. I taught there a long time.
Trade-off is that they have to volunteer.
Yeah, we'll see. That might happen next year more than this year, as far as reaching out to other guilds in the area. It gets a little complicated. Yeah, I know Art the World does it.
But like, what about the Kiwanis Club or? Sorry.
You don't want to do everything the first year?
No.
What about things like the Masons or the Kiwanis Club or anything like other types of groups that a community might have?
Well, but the first thing is that coordinator, because
it's
once
the coordinator, because
right.
they have to coordinate the volunteers, and that's
right.
we were discussing whether or not we should give some sort of payment to them just because of the time or you know the phone time, the phone bill, whatever. We haven't made that decision yet, but we are continuing the network.
You should.
You can call it a stipend or something like that.
Yeah, just as a incentive. It's a lot of time to call people and make sure that they show up and make a plan. So
herding cats.
Yes, yeah. You know, people have other things to do if the weather is really good, right? They might change their mind.
On the other hand, there are people who love art and they love to be part of it. And so I know Sun Valley always had volunteers, and none of the booth sitters had to, like, they had shift. So, you know, it's not like they had to be there the whole time for the show.
Exactly.
And yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I've been in those art fairs when those shifts aren't well organized and you have everybody in the beginning and nobody for hours and hours. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we'll be looking at all that one thing at a time. Sure. So my step today was to actually call an office of People Ready in Bend and ask them, do you supply workers? Because I hire workers through People Ready. And will they go to the site for the art fair, which just so happens to be, you know, it's the expo center, it's the fairgrounds, if you will. And I just needed to confirm that I could hire someone to help me unload with the heavy stuff. And my second thought was, if we need other workers, this would be a way to hire other people who are needing work and have them be a part of this event if we needed that. So I was just looking at it. I have had my hip replaced. I am about 4.5 weeks out from the surgery. I have 2 artificial knees and 1 artificial hip, feeling fairly bionic.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to make a plan of art fairs and events for this year, and I'm hesitating. It's weighing on me, because in the past I used to go to the Midwest twice in a year and do 3 shows, 4 shows each trip, and then do shows on the West Coast. And I just am not feeling confident about taking on a lot until I'm a little bit stronger. So I'm going to try and do my version of a garage sale art fair myself. I have something in the spring where it's like I can't do any more work until I have empty hangars. And right now I've got rolling racks full of inventory that hasn't sold for whatever reason, for COVID and not doing as many shows. And it's like I can't make any new work until I get those hangars emptied.
Storage problem.
Yep.
Are you in
Karen,
physical therapy yet?
Yes, I am doing physical therapy. There are some who say you don't need it for the hip surgery, but I have the opportunity to have it, and I'm taking
Do
it.
it. Yes, do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karen, Court's idea of Target gave me an idea. There's other companies that are like Hydro Flask is out of the Bend area.
Okay.
And
yeah.
maybe
Okay.
they have an outreach program. Certain companies have, community outreach, maybe you'd call it. I know here,
Sponsorship.
well, but what I'm talking about is for volunteers, even like where they have, or like
Yeah, I know.
here,
Insurance companies do it in Des Moines. It's part of their
yeah.
connection to the community.
Meow Wolf here does it. They have an outreach coordinator. That's her whole job. So if I think of other companies there, I will.
Well, Hydro Flask is a good thing. That was a very popular item that the artists received when they checked in one year, and everybody just raved about getting one. And so we're also thinking about what kind of gifts we're going to give each artist. So haven't made all our decisions yet, but Hydro Flask was very popular.
Yeah.
So what else is going on here? We've had 8 inches of snow at the Oregon coast, which has been our own kind of snow apocalypse. It hasn't happened very often. We had like 3 days of snow, and then we had snow again today. So
Crazy.
It's pretty quiet here. It's pretty quiet. Everybody's staying home, which is good.
One other thing you might want to check into at the state level, in addition to arts funding, don't forget your tourism funding. You're bringing in a lot of people.
Yeah, we actually, the Expo Center has been really helpful in providing this with support in a lot of ways. Okay. And it's going to be a real asset to have our show there. They will have the food vendors. And yeah, it's just a lot of things.
Indoor bathrooms.
Well, that's what I think we're getting some pretty classy bathrooms for an art fair. With a park setting, there's a creek running through it. There's parking. It's going to be pretty nice.
Yeah, that helps you on the local level, but a lot of, and I mean, all groups go to the local level, city and county level for tourism, but a lot of people miss out on the state level. State level also has, if you're bringing in people from out of state, things like that, then there's also state money you can get as well.
Okay, it's a good thing to remember. It is. Financially, we feel like we're going to have a good year. We've got money to do what we need to do the advertising, pay for the things that you need to pay for an art fair. But it's important to remember to have enough money for next year and for the year that you're not doing so well. So it's good to have a little reserve. So we're always
build up a savings account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're
just never know.
Yeah, and I don't know if your how your state legislature works there. I know in Kansas, our state legislature meets for like 6 months, and then that's it.
I don't think it's like that. Yeah. But we do have representatives that are already showing support. Some of them actually live in Bend. And David Bjorstrom went to the this big kickoff for this new committee in Salem and spoke with her, and she was very excited about supporting it. So you got to sometimes show up and shake hands and talk to people to let them
Yeah.
know what we're doing and get their support.
It would be worth somebody's time to spend maybe half an hour or an hour to go through on the state website and go through all of the programs that are convention and tourism programs that are available.
There's one that I'm interested in, which is economic development for rural counties, and that we would apply, we would qualify for that. And just getting on that list to say, this is a project that we would qualify. Let's see what happens, see if it helps us and gives us, again, more networking on the legislative level. So
one of the things
yeah.
I found out through economic development, our local economic development group, was they not necessarily dollars, but access to people with expertise in certain areas. For example, grant writing, things like that, where though the EcoDevo people can provide you with access to those resources that you might not be able to find any other way.
Yeah.
So there's lots of, if you go out and look, people think arts, but there's, the tourism aspect, there's the economic development aspect. And especially if it's considered a rural area, that opens up a whole lot more doors for those grants and funding for specific projects.
I think it really does.
And
Yeah.
then
And remember, all the
Right.
artists need lodging. I mean, have to eat. I mean,
Well, yeah, we already have the numbers from previous years, from 12 years of doing the show. So it's really easy to show what has already happened and to point to the growth that we're bringing with this new show coming in with this new numbers and number of applications. We have the data to talk to people. And I think that's important. But again,
yes,
most of this is on the shoulders of David Bjorstrom as the art fair director. I am a volunteer on the board, and we talk, we have good ideas and we network, but a lot of this is on his shoulders to implement. Yeah. Yeah, where he's not going to have enough time in the studio. But it's good.
It's going to give him new appreciation of what actually goes on. Well, it'll
I
give
think
all of you.
he has a lot of positive skills for this job, and he's going to be dusting off some old skills. And
Right.
I think he's going to do a great job. And again, we have tremendous support from both Carla and Dave Fox, who
Right.
previously ran the show. Carla is on the board and Dave is on the ground trying to beat the drum, looking for volunteers. And it's just invaluable that we have the cooperation and their connections in it because they're from that community.
Right.
which is important.
Yeah.
Very-
Yep, it is. Mm-hmm.
Well, I
you're
look forward
Mhm.
to to doing the
show.
show. What?
Good.
Funny?
You're
Yeah.
making me miss my show. Which was 3 days ago, but I love the whole running of the show thing. I love figuring out, having issues come up and figuring out the solutions and, solving the problems. And God, I love all that stuff. Now I'll have to
Well,
just do it. To my
it
real-
kind of what a gift to have a site that's actually designed for an art fair.
right.
What a gift. There can be a fewer obstacles than we have experienced in a lot of other shows that I've done. And so, yeah, that's a real asset.
Well, I work with an expo center as well. And let me tell you, working with an expo center, oh my goodness, They are so fantastic to work with.
Yeah, they
No.
have the liquor license. They can handle liquor sales. They just taking care of some things that would be hard for us to do at this time. Yeah.
Right. Now ours happens to be indoors since it's February, but it's the same, you know, we're just another event for them.
They're organized for events. That's the key.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're gonna give it a try.
Karen, it sounds like you're really doing well. So good luck.
I'm
Yeah.
trying. Thank you. I'm trying. My funny story to tell is that right before the surgery, I was really determined to put a warp on 2 different looms. One's very large and one's very small. I just needed to have something on those looms waiting for me after surgery. So after surgery, I thought, okay, I can't do a lot, but I can sit and thread the loom, put in a peg plan on the peg bars. So fast forward 3 weeks later, and I'm struggling with this scarf project on the loom, wondering why I was having so much trouble with it. So I wound up having to rethread it and redo the peg plan. And the moral of the story is narcotics really interfered with my brain activity. I got, you know, it's just a simple act of putting a metal peg into a round hole, and I didn't do it right. And it was just hilarious to me. So we're having to redo a few things, but we'll get there.
Too funny.
Have to be a weaver to appreciate maybe the how
finer.
humorous it was. Yeah. No. But thank you though for your encouragement.
Well, guys, I'm fading out, which is quite normal right now. So I'm going to leave. This
Good seeing you.
Good seeing you.
Thank you all for all of your support through all of this nonsense. And I will see you next week.
And
Okay.
congratulations,
Bye, Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
It was real fun coming back, driving all day, getting home, relaxing, you know, being in the car, spending 11 hours in the car, getting home, relaxing. And all of a sudden having your phone start screaming at you that there's a tornado warning.
Oh no.
Right. Yeah.
LA had snow last week. Los Angeles.
Yes. How was that?
Well, my friend called me up to tell me and to ask me if we were getting it here.
Mhm.
It was down to 2,000 feet in San Diego. So some
Wow.
eastern part of the county did get snow. And they said some of it's up over 30 inches now.
Oh, wow.
But
Well, it was a lot for us to get 8 inches of snow at the coast. And not only that, we had trees come down everywhere. Cascade
we
Head
had trees
had
come down.
400 trees down. And
the
so usually there's more than one road to get anywhere, and they were all blocked. So that's not good. You know, that's a problem.
I saw pictures of
people-
snow. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, a lot
A
of
lot of
people were
people.
without power. Yeah.
Wow.
But we
Yeah, I
had
saw pictures of
down
snow
on
and
houses and cars.
Mm-hmm.
So not so much, they didn't, or at least the road blockages didn't make the news, but the fact that it went through a roof or into an apartment,
Mm-hmm.
smashed the car to bits, that kind of thing. It
Yeah.
did take out power lines in a couple of places, but most of our power lines are underground now.
Well, the other point is that I grew up in the St. Louis area, so I grew up with winter. You know, I know what winter is about. I learned to drive in the snow, but people out here just don't have that experience. We don't have the equipment to clear the roads. It takes a long time. And so, you know, that puts us at a disadvantage, but, you know, 8 inches of snow, that was at sea level. That's a lot.
Yeah, well.
Pretty unprecedented, I imagine.
Yeah. I posted a couple pretty pictures of the snow on my Facebook page if you want to go check it out, or on Instagram. And some of it was quite stunning just to see the grays and the blacks and the whites. So it's been what we've been talking about this week. We had a lot of appointments that had to be canceled. And that's, I'm trying to get all these medical things out of the way at this earlier part of the year, and it's just nobody was going anywhere.
If anybody wants to see what Comic-Con art show is like, I put a link in the chat. And there is an application if you want to see what the applications are like. Right now, it looks like they changed things again. So you apply, and then if you're accepted, they send you something to pay the fees. But that's the legal department that I guess decided on that.
Well, that's probably a good thing. Yeah.
Well, before you just sent in your thing with your check, and if they disapproved it for whatever reason, they sent it all back to you. But I don't know. It wasn't announced by the art show director, so this might be something that the main administration put up without bothering to tell them, which has happened before.
So Frank, do you think a religious organization would be interested in helping at an art fair? I mean,
I think, yeah, if my rabbi were approached, she would talk to the leadership, and I think they would put out an announcement that volunteers were being sought, and the Social Action Committee might actually want to participate. I don't know. We have a mini art fair for the holidays every year. You know, it's on the premises. We get a dozen or 15 or 18 vendors. I don't know the exact, maybe 2 dozen. So, you know, it depends on the religious institution, but, you know, Reformed Jews are very social minded and very arts oriented. And
yeah, there is, I know there is a temple in Bend, and I think it's a conservative, modern conservative. And so, yeah, Karen, maybe that's another sector to approach.
I'll send a list to David and see what happens. Right.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, some people are really excited to volunteer, and that's what you have to tap into.
It's like, you know, the service is a big part of their life. And I think this is a great thing. But it's getting harder to find people who have the time. There are a lot of weaving guilds who can't find enough members to step up to take over the leadership roles. And I hear this in more than one group, that they just can't get people to serve. So, yeah.
Well, my synagogue is very eager to encourage the teens to be socially active. So they might conceivably, you know, if the synagogue in Bend is anything like us, they might conceivably have an active teen group that could get involved or something.
Yeah, it's a good thing to ask. We can do that.
Yeah, you could trade them for a space to hand out literature, right?
No,
I don't know if that's as important. I think just.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, you could put them up on a notice board that say being helped by such and such.
Right. Right.
Sure.
Promotion.
Sponsor. Yep.
Yeah, sponsor.
Getting volunteers for anything has been a problem across the board. I used to be an EMT, and EMS in a lot of rural areas depends upon volunteers. And, you know, EMS has had a problem getting volunteers the last 10 years. And everything I've seen said, you know, all organizations have had problems getting volunteers in the last 10 or so years.
Oh, you got a big kitty.
Yeah, this is Abby.
Hi, Abby.
Abby the tabby. She doesn't like the snow.
Well, I'm fading a little too, so I'll say goodbye and see you all next week.
Nice to see everybody. We'll stay in touch.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye, Frank.
Are you ready to,
Well-
you getting ready to head home soon, Oscar?
Oh yeah, you said you were soon, right? Before Houston. We can't hear you.
You're on mute, Oscar.
Sorry. Yeah, and then I go home, and I'm dying to go home. It's you know, one thing that I learned from this trip.
You're not
I
ever
don't
going
want
to do
to.
it again?
No, I will do it again. Financially, you cannot go wrong. Uh, it's been it's more of what I learned about me than anything else. I don't want to be asking favors to friends to place to stay, even and my door's always open to people, but I don't like to be asking the same friends over and over. So and getting the camper and getting a place down here where I can park it and become my second home.
Mhm.
And I also learned that just like what I'm doing and enjoy what I'm doing, and I don't want to be. I want to focus on what I'm doing and not so much in the social aspect when I'm down here with friends. I just want to because it's the only time that I really had time to focus on photography,
Hmm.
and it's kind of interesting to see different aspects of life. It's kind of weird to be mostly in the central part of Florida because that's where I can afford to stay, and then be in the coastal area, and and it is weird with people down here. It's just better to keep your mouth shut and don't say anything. Just uh, keep your head down and don't talk to anybody. Some of my friends, I'm becoming like I really don't want to see that person ever again in my lifetime. If
Oh,
I could,
that
you
sounds
know.
horrible.
No, it's just that you try to be with a person, and when people, we have the same friends basically, right?
Mhm.
And when they start down the time, like just
You-
want.
You're freezing. You're freezing up.
What I saying that sooner or later I'm going to snap on the person. So
Got it.
I'm just avoiding things. And even when my friend was getting angry at me because I was not talking to anybody, being a social butterfly on Saturday, and
Mhm.
and I know it happened before, but when I'm in pain, I don't like to talk to people, and because I was talking to Stephen Baldoff that has the same problem. He said, like, yeah, when I'm in pain, I don't want to talk to anybody over. You know, they say the wrong thing, you're going to snap on them, you know, and it's not going to be pretty. And 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 it's kind of weird to tell that to people because sometimes people make comments that, you know, you got your set of friends in Florida, then you don't see them again until next year. And that's what I realized over the weekend. You know, it's kind of nice to see them, but I really don't want to see you again until next year.
Mhm.
So it's it's just as it is. It's a different crowd than the one I'm in the. And the problem with the friends in the northern state is like you know everybody's so busy you don't get to see them often enough
Yeah.
to have more social thing over here. Like tonight, every Tuesday, everybody goes out to eat tacos in a restaurant together. So tonight's
Mhm.
like a 12 hours in a restaurant eating, just having dinner together, and that's kind of nice to see and do, you know. But
Mhm.
uh, talking to they also met the new director for now, and she's been talk. She stays on the same campground that Steve will work at, and the campground that I hope to stay next year. And it's kind of interesting to see how they do things because it's totally different from what I heard before. But I honestly, they do a good job based on what she tells me, like the show is put up the proper way. I think they put really a lot of thought where they put people and how they lay out the show. It's not like this is one photographer. They have a great note. They actually think each individual what it goes with what. So it's kind of different to see, But I got a lot of respect out of talking to them, to Camille, to Sharon, like a different appreciation what goes behind the doors, that we don't see. So it's just interesting. But
Yeah.
2 more
Well, it
weeks.
sounds exciting. It sounds exciting getting a camper. I mean, then you'll have your privacy, and if you don't want to talk to people, you just go home.
Yeah, and just close the door.
Yeah.
And I will have the cats with me, which it will be a big plus.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, because it costs me $150 every week to have the cats in Chicago.
Oh, that's substantial. That adds, given the time you're gone. But how are they going to do on the road? You might have to like do trial runs with them.
No, they will have to sit down back there and suffer with me.
What I'm saying is when you do get it, you might just do short, just even driving around the neighborhood and then going back home or something, just so they can get a feel for it and know that they're not going to the vet.
They contact to at my house. Everything is we go and do it. There's no trial test, nothing. You're going into the cage, and I see you when we get to Florida. So no, it's going to be interesting. I will see. Yeah. I'm thinking of maybe bring the trailer early, and then bring the cat after I bring the Archer stuff down. I will see what I do.
Right.
So, that's far away. It's like a night for now. So I'm not going to.
Well, I learned that my cat gets car sick. So she's a terrible cat to ride in the car.
Well, all 3 of them become a meow ambulance all the time. So,
yeah. Well, sometimes it's just a real mess to clean up because they just are not good travelers.
Yeah. I'm thinking about how I'm going to do it already. So
good. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have time.
My mother-in-law's cat did not like traveling, and she always had to go poop. And so the cat's name was Punky. So we played Punky Bingo to see how far we got down the road before the cat pooped.
Yeah, carry a lot of paper towels, right?
Yeah. Excuse me, I have to go. I've got to make a phone call, but nice seeing all of you.
All right, see you later.
I've got to go too. I've got to go cook dinner. My wife's got a meeting this evening.
So. All right.
Thank you, Larry.
Right. See you again.
Thanks,
see you again.
Bye.
Karen, take care of your.
I hope you're doing well too, Larry.
I'm going into my 5th week of physical therapy, so I'm doing fine.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they work us that hard, but boy, do I feel it the next day.
Well, I'm alternating between the recumbent bike and the treadmill at home, plus stretching my ankle.
Good for you. You're going to do a good job.
So I'm doing something every day.
Yeah. Well, my goal is just to be able to get my sock on. Right now, I can't quite get that one motion to get that leg all the way up without popping out the joint.
I know the problem.
Gotta wait. We'll get there. All right. Take care.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.